This lesson is on type 4 and type 5 sentences. And this is part 2 of a 4-part series on diagramming sentences. Now, once again, I want to start with a quick review here because I'm going to assume that you're familiar with all of the terms and concepts here. If you're not, go back and review these lessons in the Moodle or on this YouTube channel. But I'm going to go very quickly because I'm going to assume that you know all this. So if it starts going too fast for you or you start getting confused, go back and review these lessons. All right, so this is the basic diagram for a type 4 sentence. And you'll notice that it looks exactly like the type 2 sentence. Really, the only difference is here in the predicate. This is going to have a linking verb as the predicate. And remember that these are the brass G verbs and the 5 senses. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the linking verbs, go back and review them. But the rest is the same, right? The subject, the predicate, adjective are the same here. All right, so let's look at some examples. And this time I'm going to skip over diagnosing part of speech and sentence elements. I did that in the first lesson on this series. And, again, if you haven't looked at that, go back and review it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do the diagrams here for the sake of time and speed. All right, so my subject is neighbor. That's the main verb or main noun in the sentence. And seems is my predicate, and that is a linking verb. And what does my neighbor seem? My neighbor seems kind. Okay, so the rest of these are modifiers. These are both modifying neighbor. And that's the diagram for the type 4 sentence. All right, let's look at another one. All right, so let's look at our next one here. Once again, we'll start with the subject and predicate. And once again, the predicate is a form of the verb to be. This one's a little bit tricky, though, because we have a compound predicate adjective. I realize I'm running out of a little bit of space here, but Cherie seems kind, and she seems intelligent. And then I put that conjunction right in there. Hard to write sideways. There we go. Cherie sounds kind and intelligent, right? So a compound predicate adjective here. All right, this time looks like we have a compound subject, right? And I can just tell by looking at it, right? Daryl, Juanito became strong. So that's the core of the sentence right there. The rest of these are just modifiers. We have a conjunction. And let's see, what is really, really is modifying strong. And what do we got going over here? This season. Oh, this is telling when they became really strong. So this is an adverbial phrase because it's telling when this happened. And when did it happen? It happened season. So there's another one of those goofy ones with the little elbow because this is modifying season. It's telling which season. It's not next season or last season. It's this season. Right, and the season is the adverb. That's when they became strong. So it's got that one of those goofy modifier of a modifier brackets on this. Really is very simple. It's just modifying strong. All right, so let's move on to the type 5 sentence. And you'll notice this one looks exactly like the type 3 sentence. Once again, the only difference here is the linking verb in the predicate slot. Otherwise, the sentence is exactly the same. Right, so Sandy became president of the school's French club. Sandy became... She became what? She became president. There we go. And so what's the rest of this here? Well, this is a prepositional phrase, right? You recognize the preposition of what? Of club. right? Because the club is actually the object of the preposition. The rest of these are just modifiers, right? The schools French, right? So French tells what kind of club it is. The school is a possessive noun that shows ownership. The club belongs to the school, and the is an article modifying club. So there we go. Subject is Jimmy. Oops. Remains is the predicate. Remains what? He remains, this is kind of a funky one, but he remains guitarist. And it's the greatest, because those are both modifying guitarist. And so what is of all time doing here? This is a prepositional phrase. Is it modifying remains or guitarist? It's modifying guitarist. Right, because it's it's modifying guitarist. It's showing he's the best of all time. He's the greatest of all time, and that is a true statement. I think this is the last one here. All right, subject is soup. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always go back through and figure out part of speech, and then go through and figure out sentence elements. I skipped over that because I assume you know this, but if I'm going too fast for you, or you start getting confused when you're diagramming sentences, go through, figure out part of speech, go through, figure out sentence elements, and it'll make this a lot clearer to you. Okay, I'm just going quick for the sake of demonstration. And so that's it. All those modify the predicate noun there. And I believe that's it. Thanks for watching.